pregame set with the Baltimore Orioles, who come in with a record of 28-69 on the season. It has been a miserable year for Buck Showalter's team, and of course now they have traded Manny Machado. He is now an LA Dodgers, so they grow even weaker theoretically heading into the second half. They do have Jonathan Schoop, not having a great year overall, but hitting very well over the last couple of weeks, starting to look like the Schoop we've seen from the last couple of years. And Trey Mancini has done some work against the Blue Jays in his career.
It's still a very powerful lineup. The Baltimore Orioles, they count on the home run, and that's the lineup that Sam Gaviglio will attack tonight, making his 12th start of the season, his first career start against the Orioles. Last time out against Boston, a no decision. He started that game on 2 days rest, and he did okay. First time he'd ever done that. He allowed just 1 run on 4 hits over 3 1/3 innings. He needs a win. Sam has not won a game since May the 25th at Philadelphia, when he threw 6 innings and had a season high tying 6 strikeouts. He's got the Orioles tonight. Let's get him in the win column.
And the defense for the Blue Jays, with Pilar out, Grichuk in center. Got to have a right fielder. Dwight Smith saw some action in Boston, but it's Curtis Granderson tonight.
Yeah, Grandy only 14 starts in right field this season. With the injury to Kevin Pilar, you'll see Grandy playing just a little bit more on the corner side as Randal Grichuk shifts over to center field to play there pretty much every day. Grandy gets the start in right field tonight.
And ready to go with Doug Eddings calling the balls and strikes tonight. Sam Gaviglio's ready. Tim Beckham is the leadoff man for the Orioles. And we are underway with the ball 1 down and away. Beckham, a former 1-1. What that means is first overall choice, first round, first pick. That was back in 2008 by Tampa Bay. Has been both a Ray and an Oriole. This is his second year with Baltimore. And with Machado getting traded, and that certainly is the biggest news around Baltimore, maybe in baseball over the last week or so. Beckham moves from third to short, and they've got Renato Nunez called up from the minors to play third base in the absence of Machado. And if you're an Orioles fan, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, and I think everybody understands it. But boy, as tough as the first 3.5 months were, could the next 2.5 months be even tougher, because they might trade more guys?
Yeah, I think they will. You'll see some of these veterans start to leave this team. I think Beckham becomes a very important guy, because Buck Showalter's teams, they've always had a shortstop who can field the ball. I mean, he believes that with pitching and defense, your shortstop has to be the captain out there, and it looks like Beckham's going to be the man in the second half.
Gaviglio's fallen to behind 3-1. And a chopper weekly hit foul. A full count now on Beckham, with Schoop and Jones still to follow. Sam Gaviglio's first career start against the Baltimore Orioles. Tabby mentioned the 2 quick starts, Wednesday in Atlanta, Saturday in Boston. The quick turnaround because he got knocked out early, low pitch count, and they needed an arm on Saturday, and did a nice job at Fenway Park. And he got him right on the corner for strike 3 call.
He is at his best when he is pitching like that. That little swing back fastball on the outside part of the plate, freezing up Beckham. He's going to be around the plate, throw strikes. He might not blow the ball by you, but he's got to be effective by putting the ball on the corner, and that is clearly a strike on the outside part of play. Good start.
Yeah, maybe his favorite pitch, that 2-seamer that comes back to the outside corner against a righty. Beckham sits down, and now here's Jonathan Schoop. As we mentioned, it hasn't been a banner year for him. Started with an injury, got a bit of a late start this year. Last year, Jonathan Schoop is just a 25-year-old. Tabby hit 32 homers and drove in 105 runs. He was an all-star last year.
And he's a free swinger. It looks like he's trying to take a couple of pitches. I think his strength is when he's going up there being very aggressive at the plate. Doesn't see a whole lot of pitches. There's a ball that's foul, but his strength is being up there aggressive. He's got one of the highest swing percentages in baseball, and that's a good thing.
The 0-2 on the way. And a swing and a miss and a slider down and away. Back-to-back strikeouts for Gaviglio. So 2 down, and here comes the longest serving member of the Baltimore Orioles. Will he be an Oriole past the deadline? He's got some no trade clause in his contract by virtue of being a 10-5 guy, and by virtue of being in the American League East for such a long time, he's done some damage against the Blue Jays.
He is a superstar. He can still do it. It's going to be very interesting. You mentioned about the trade possibilities. Jones, he's a 10-5 guy, so he can veto any trade if the Orioles do come up with something. But he's always had that great swing and tremendous power. The home runs are down a little bit this year. There's still a threat at the plate.
Liner to left field, and there to make the catch, Teoscar Hernandez. And it's a good start for Sam Gavilia. 3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts. Now he's back here with the helm of the Blue Jays, and let's take a look at the lineup that he has written in there tonight. Curtis Granderson is leading off, and look at his numbers against the Baltimore Orioles this year. Hitting over 400, 5 extra base hits, and we talked about it off the top of the show. Justin Smoak looking very much like he did last year.
Yeah, 7 home runs since June the 29th, tied for first in Major League Baseball with Will Myers from the San Diego Padres. That is the lineup that tonight's starter for the Baltimore Orioles will face, and that's Dylan Bundy, his 19th start of this season. Hit a little bit of a wall lately. He suffered that 9th loss of the season in his last start versus New York. That's 2 straight starts of 4 or fewer innings for Bundy. He's given up 10 runs in the last 7 1/3 innings, and I think the problem's been home runs. He's given up 20 home runs this season, 5th most in Major League Baseball.
But he has always been a problem for the Blue Jays. He had a good start against them in Baltimore way back in April. 7 innings, 2 runs. He struck out 10. Allowed only 4 hits, gave up a home run. But that guy's gone. Steve Pearce hit it out off Bundy. And we'll see how this version of the Blue Jays does tonight, beginning with Granderson. So he's in right field with Randal Grichuk in center, perhaps for the foreseeable future. With Pilar out for a while, that fly ball to left center is run down by Trey Mancini. 1 down, and as we mentioned, Bundy may have hit a wall, but he has not had problems against the Blue Jays in his career. 4 career starts, terrific numbers. Smoak's the only guy with any kind of numbers at all against Bundy tonight. 3-1 with a 1.17 ERA. In 8 career appearances against the Blue Jays, including 4 starts.
And 36 strikeouts when that slider's working. That has always been the Achilles heel for these right-handed hitters of the Blue Jays. He's got enough fastball, obviously, but he's got a great slider. Seems like whenever he pitches against the Blue Jays, he's painting the outside corner with it.
And you wonder, with the Baltimore trading off guys, or considering trading off guys whose contracts are up at the end of the year, guys like Zach Britton, Brad Brach, maybe Adam Jones if he allows it, would they consider trading guys like Bundy and Kevin Gausman, who still have a couple of years of control? They're still pretty young starting pitchers, but starting pitching is in demand, and I wonder if they're getting phone calls about those guys.
Probably, but if I'm Baltimore, I'm not trading those 2 guys. This guy's 25 years old. He won't turn 26 until the end of the season in the middle of November. Gosman is still very young, and they spent high draft picks on those guys. What you don't want to do is start trading them off. They're going to be the foundation of your team over the next few years.
Teoscar Hernandez swings and misses, 2 down. And a chance to set the defense behind Dylan Bundy tonight. The new left side of the infield, really.
Yeah, and the first time in 7 years, Manny Machado is not going to be on that left side. Tim Beckham, we mentioned, is going to be a big guy this season. It's the first start at shortstop this year. He made 49 of them last year at shortstop for the Orioles after they picked him up from Tampa.
So here's Justin Smoak with 2 down to the bases empty. No score in the bottom of the first. Smoak went home to South Carolina during the break, spending a few days there. Blue Jays scattering from Boston. Some came back to Toronto. Others went home. As Smoak hits one high in the air, but way foul down the right field line. It'll wind up in the second deck.
Yeah, I just missed him in South Carolina. I was leaving South Carolina when he was coming in on Monday. Got a chance to spend some time there. About 10 minutes from where Smokey lives. You ever been down to that part?
I've been to Charleston once to do a basketball game. That's it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Down in Kiel.
I'm sorry, to Columbia as well.
Okay,
Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
University of South Carolina.
You went to the fancy spot.
Yeah, by Smokey's house.
Yeah. He loves South Carolina. He'd be a good tour guide.
I told him, I said I was in God's country for 4 days, and he said, you got that right.
There are the numbers, 3 for 8 with a double, and again, Smoak, the only guy who's got any kind of success who's in the lineup tonight. Off the end of the bat, foul.
He was telling me today, so what's up with this latest hot binge that you've gone through? And he said, you know what, my mindset right now is I've got to be a little bit more aggressive at the plate. And with the type of swing that he has, he's marrying up being aggressive with great timing at the plate, and the results have been fantastic.
Coming off a career year, Smoak was, and his all-star appearance last year, and didn't get out of the gate. Got out of the gate okay, and then struggled for a while. The on-base percentage has always been good this year, drawing a lot of walks, but now the power and the production are coming. And he is still out at first on a classic 2018 out that used to be a base hit. 3 up and 3 down to go the Blue Jays in the bottom of the first.
Left-hander in his very first Midsummer Classic earned his first ever career save on the All-Star stage. Now, in what was a whirlwind 48 hours, Hap told me there was one person and one particular memory that he thought a lot about during his experience. His dad, and the time he built a mound for a young Jay Happ in the family's backyard. Hap said he would go out there, end up throwing pitches in the dirt, and bruised his dad up pretty good. He said his dad never complained, would pick up the baseball time and time again and throw it back to him. They would be out there for hours, Dan. Quote, I kept thinking about how he taught me perseverance. Hap said, I certainly love him for that, but I couldn't help but think about that one memory a lot during those last 2 days in Washington.
All right, Hazel, thank you. Great stuff. You will not find a more soft-spoken, humble guy than Jay Happ, who just loved the The couple of days he was down in Washington, he told us, Tabby, before the game, maybe his favorite part was just getting a chance to hang out with the other All-Stars, guys you're normally competing against, to be able to call them teammates for a night. Had a long conversation with Craig Kimbrell, talked with Chris Sale a little bit. Charlie Morton and Garrett Cole, former teammates of his when he was in Pittsburgh, and he just kind of soaked up the whole experience.
And we said, well, what did you ask Chris Sale? What were you talking about?
Chopper over the mound. Travis racing in, makes the play. Trumbo retired.
He was talking about Sale's breaking ball. He was asking him, you know, what were you thinking when you let go of the ball? What's your mindset? What you're thinking? And I said, you were asking Chris Sale about his breaking ball, and he kind of laughed. He goes, we don't have the same kind of breaking ball. Okay. But I just wanted to see what he was thinking when he was throwing his breaking ball.
And he understood the situation. He had kind of been designated as the emergency long man if the game goes to extra innings. But that meant in all likelihood, if it was close at all, he was going to be held back because he was fully rested. He was on 4 days rest. He could give them multiple innings. So in all likelihood, he wasn't going to pitch. It's 5-3 going to the ninth, and he's not a factor until Diaz gives up the home run to Scooter Gennett. And all of a sudden, it's let's go. And he's up and getting ready to come into the game. And he admitted to us his heart was racing when he came into the game.
We forgot to ask him if Scooter Gennett is like his favorite player now. By him hitting that home run, he got to get into the game and get his first major league save. Good for him.
Yep.
Deserved it.
He is due to start Sunday, assuming, of course, that he is still here. I think everybody believes he'll be gone, traded somewhere by the deadline, by July 31st, but who knows where or when. 1-2 the count on Chris Davis, and there is strike three called. Third strikeout for Gaviglio. Meanwhile, the All-Star break provided not just an opportunity for Jay Happ, but the increasingly popular and always fun to watch the Futures game. Bo Bichette, Double-A shortstop. Everybody knows about him. He went 1 for 3 in the Futures game. Of course, Vladimir Guerrero would have been there, but coming back from the knee injury. Danny Jansen was there, went 1 for 2 and hit a long home run. He is having just a great year with the Buffalo. And the only question is, do we see him later this year, or do they hold him back until the start of next year? But Danny Jansen's going to be here pretty soon.
He made and has made over the last couple of years huge strides as a player, and I definitely think we will see him once the AAA season is over.
Former Blue Jay Danny Valencia, deep center, Grichuk back and makes the play. 3 up, 3 down on only 9 pitches. A terrific first couple of innings for Sam Gaviglio.
Celebrate Blue Jays heroes of the past. On Saturday, August 11th, the first 20,000 fans will receive an Alomar, Molitor, and Olerud triple bobblehead. Now, that's on Saturday, August 11th. As I mentioned, arrive early for pregame ceremonies, and for tickets, as always, visit BlueJays.com. Dan.
That's pretty cool. That was a very special year, and 3 guys who had amazing seasons that year. No score, bottom of the second. And Yannihervis Solarte looks at a big overhand curveball from Dylan Bundy in for a called strike. Solarte, Kendrys Morales, and a Russell Martin for the Blue Jays here in the bottom of the second. Chases up and in and quickly 0-2.
This is where Bundy does his best work right here. When he jumps ahead of hitters like this 0-2, he has the ability to put them away. They're hitting 164 against Bundy when he gets to 0-2. He's got the stuff to go after. Looks like they're going upstairs.
And he got him. Boy, well-placed fastballs. One down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. That came off Matt Boyd and David Price on the mound. Coincidentally, those two were traded for one another. Boyd was part of the package when Price came to the Blue Jays. How about the Cardinal Cub game today? 18-5. Matt Carpenter went 5 for 5, 3 home runs, 2 doubles, drove in 7, and then they were beating them so badly he was taken out before his last at bat when a home run would have tied the major league record with 4 homers. And the Cubs had 3 different position players. He would have faced a position player in that last at bat, but I guess the Cardinals felt they didn't want to rub it in.
I don't care. You got a chance to hit 4 home runs. You got to stay in. He wasn't pulled for injuries, was he?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Was the wind blowing out? It sure sounds like it.
Well, for St. Louis it was. In the top half of the inning it was. Or the Cardinals have an interesting 10 days ahead of them. Are they in or out? Buyers, sellers, a lot of pressure in that town right now. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Kendrys Morales.
I think everybody was thinking that this was the year for St. Louis to really contend against Chicago, but Milwaukee's taken over that spot. They're just 3 games back. St. Louis fired their manager, Mike Matheny, which was a surprise. They just haven't been able to get on track.
2-2 on Morales, hitting .246 on the season, but .327 in his last 32 games. And a ground ball to the left side of the infield, right where the shortstop normally is. That's the third baseman Nunez, 2 down.
The diverse Civic family, our most powerful lineup yet. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Dan Schulman, Pat Tabler, Hazel May. They're inside Rogers Center, no score, bottom of the second. As the Blue Jays open up a homestand, 3 against Baltimore and 3 against Minnesota. Paul Molitor coming back to town. Manager of the Twins. Talked about that bobblehead that Molitor's a part of, along with Olerud and Alomar. Those guys finishing 1, 2, 3. Olerud, Molitor, Alomar, 1, 2, 3 in the batting race back in 1993. John Olerud hitting .363 that year, was hitting over .400 in early August.
And this isn't a knock on Ole, because I love Ole. I don't know how many infield hits he got out of that.
Probably not many. Shows you how well he swung the bat. Martin grounds out on a ball up the middle. Scope will make the play, and the Blue Jays go in order. No score at the end of 2. through 2 innings, continuing a trend, Tabby, where he's been very good in this ballpark.
Yeah, if you take a look at the splits, the home and road splits, much better ERA at home, under 2, opponent's average, whip, home runs allowed, everything. He's averaging 6 1/3 innings in his starts here in this ballpark, just 4 innings on the road, so this is a good start. And I think the key for him is always keeping the ball down, keeping it on the corners, and when he's got that little 2-seam fastball working, I think it works in conjunction with the slider. He got a strikeout in the first inning on the 2-seamer and then came back with the slider and picked up the other strikeout.
Number 7 hitter Trey Mancini, the left fielder for the Orioles, hitting .216. Got some power, though, a dozen homers, and there's that trademark 2-seam fastball from Gaviglio that finds the outside corner. Hard to believe it was just 2 years ago that Baltimore, well, these two teams, but just focusing on the Orioles right now, that they were in the playoffs. That this was the wild card game. Toronto and Baltimore, and now, whoa, knocked down by Gaviglio, recovers, throws it away. And Mancini into second on the play. It'll likely be a single and then an error. I don't think Gaviglio is shaken up. And it looked like he might have time to make the throw, but he sailed it wide of smoke.
You know why he couldn't make that throw is when he caught it, he did the 360, and that is so tough to then pick up the fielder. First of all, it knocks this ball down, lined right off of the glove, and watch the 360. It's tough to pick up the first baseman. You see him, and then your head keeps moving, and he throws it away. Justin Smoke is really good at first base, but he's not that good.
Not that good.
To get that one.
So that is a single and an error. The first base runner of the night for either team. And here's Renato Nunez. Nunez added to the roster in the aftermath of the Manny Machado trade. He has a bit of major league experience under his belt with Oakland and with Texas.
Yeah, he made 8 starts at third base for the Rangers this year. 3 of them in the outfield. Had a little bit of time. He's trying to move that runner now.
Nunez, 24 years of age, from Venezuela. Replacing, but obviously not replacing, one of the 3 or 4 best players in the game. You know, you talk about Mike Trout, Mookie Betts. I think Manny Machado is pretty close to being next after that.
Yeah, just 26 years old and playing a very important position at shortstop. I think he and Nolan Arenado are in a class by themselves as third baseman.
Right, but he says he wants to play short. He'll play short for the Dodgers this year. Once he becomes a free agent, who knows? He can sign with anybody he wants who wants him, but who knows if he'll play third or short going forward. And here he is getting comfortable in the Dodger clubhouse. The Dodgers are in Milwaukee tonight. That's Chase Utley, a new teammate of his, as he makes some new friends, greets some new teammates. You may have seen the selfie he took with Matt Kemp at the All-Star game on the field, which makes you think that Machado knew he was going to the Dodgers. It just, baseball probably didn't want it announced until after the game.
It's such a weird feeling. You play the first half of the season in one uniform, you get on a plane and you put on another uniform.
Hernandez makes the catch. Nunez retired, and we're checking in with Jamie again. And remember, the Yankees, as good a first half as they had, they're still looking up at the Red Sox. 4.5 games back of Boston. And both teams are going to make moves. We mentioned a little bit earlier, the Red Sox already picked up Steve Pearce. I think Dave Dombrowski will get a bullpen arm or 2. And I think Brian Cashman's going to get a starter, whether it's Jay Happ or somebody else. Those 2 teams are definitely going to make moves.
I think it's 2 starters. I think the Yankees right now are laying in the weeds. And I think they're going to do something big, something that we're not even talking about right now. Who's going to catch the Red Sox? We got 68 wins already.
Caleb Joseph, the catcher, number 9 hitter. A strike right at the bottom of the zone, a strike right at the top of the zone, and it's 0-2.
We talked about Sam Gaviglio hitting the outside corner with that two-seamer and that slider. I don't think you stay out there. I think you have to move the ball around. You have to throw inside. You have to go up. By going inside, you're going to open up the outside part of the plate.
Left center field, hanging up for Hernandez, who's had a busy night, 2 down.
Pitching is all about keeping guys off balance and thinking one step ahead of them when you can't just blaze the ball by them. And Gaviglio right now is in a nice little zone.
That runner still out at second, now 2 down here in the top of the third. Back to the top of the order for Tim Beckham.
I mean, he's been pounding that strike zone. He's got one of the highest first pitch strike percentage this season. Only Chris Sale and Luis Severino have a higher first pitch strike percentage.
No first pitch strike here. Hit him on the arm, and Beckham will take his base.
You know, I was just talking about the ball away. You can't just keep throwing the ball away. Major league hitters are going to pick up on that and make the adjustments, so you have to be able to throw the ball in. I think that's what Sam was trying to do here. Run that fastball inside, but it just stays out over the plate and hits him right in that padding on that elbow.
So now 2 on 2 out, and the batter Jonathan Schoop, who struck out his first time up. Goes after that slider, well located by Gaviglio. Travis there on the pop-up, and that's all. As Gaviglio gets out of it, stranding a couple of runners here in the top of the third.
July 7th to the 29th on Sportsnet 1. And enjoying those comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are guests from one of TD's community partners. Welcome, everybody.
And welcome to the Rogers Center for the first game at 3 between the Blue Jays and the Orioles. No score, bottom 3. And here's Randal Grichuk. Hitting .206, 11 home runs on the season. And Tabby figures to get, unless something changes, an extended look in center field over the next 6 weeks. He was the primary center fielder for the Cardinals 2 years ago, 106 starts out there. Has played more right than center in his career, but certainly seems to be comfortable in center field. Who wants this one? It'll be Schoop when it finally comes down. And Kevin Pilar, who has played a lot of baseball for the Blue Jays over the last 3.5 years, is going to be sidelined for several weeks.
Yeah, with that injury, stenoclavicular, something like that. The shoulder. Let's go with the shoulder. I didn't say I was a doctor, but you can see all the games that Kevin has played. 93 of the 95 this season, 159, 146, and 154. Great defense, and Grichuk is a very good right fielder. I think he's going to be a better center fielder. He was saying that it's so much easier. You can see the ball off the bat so much easier in center field. So he'll be fine out there as Pilar gets better. Sternoclavicular.
Sternoclavicular. He has a sprained sternoclavicular joint.
Have you ever heard of that word before he got injured?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
That's it. I've heard of it. Here's Aledmys Diaz to deep left field. It's gone. Number 9 on the season for Diaz, and the Blue Jays strike first.
You know, we mentioned that Bundy has given up his share of home runs, and it's hard to believe when you watch him pitch. He's got a great fastball, great breaking ball, outstanding command and control, but he just makes too many mistakes, and unfortunately for him, those mistakes are hit out of the yard. That's the 21st home run this season that he has given up. 5th most in the major leagues coming into this game, and Diaz doesn't waste any time.
Now, what a way to get things started after the All-Star break in your first at bat. He's got some pop.
The Super Slow-Mo is brought to you by the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now.
Travis pops one up. Scope again, 2 down.
I was watching him today take batting practice, and he was on everything. I asked him what he did over the break, and he kind of hung out in the last couple of days. He said, I needed my body to rest and my mind to rest. When you play every day, it's a grind and you get worn down. He said he threw a little bit, did some stretching the last couple of days, and I watched him take BP, and he was on everything. So he's freshened up.
Curtis Granderson up for the second time at a fly ball to left field, his first time up. First hit of the night for the Blue Jays, produces the first run of the game as Granderson goes around at the curveball. Could be a pretty effective combination, that fastball from Bundy and then the overhand curveball. He doesn't throw nearly as hard as he did when he came up. When he came up, Tabby, correct me if I'm wrong, he was hitting 96, 97 miles an hour.
Yeah, and then had some arm injuries and some other injuries to his body that really delayed his development as a pitcher. But last year, he had 28 starts, which was a career high. He won a career high 13 games. You can see the stuff is there. Orioles were 16-12 in those starts last season. The only Oriole starter with a winning record. You were mentioning that the last couple years, these were the two teams that played in the wild card, and Baltimore has really fallen.
And it's going to take them a while. I mean, they helped their farm system with the Machado deal. As Granderson lines out, and that'll do it for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 3rd. But they take the lead on the home run by Aledmys Diaz. Number 9 on the season, and at the end of 3, the Blue Jays are up 1-0.
is now available at a lower price. For $82.99, watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand. Your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this very special offer. Dan.
Thank you, Hazel. Adam Jones will lead it off in the top of the fourth. Blue Jays up 1-0. We talked a little bit before about Jones and him being a 10-5 guy. For those who don't know what that means at least 10 years in the majors and at least the last 5 years with your current team. That automatically gives you no trade protection in your contract. So if a team calls Dan Duquette and says, hey, we'd love Adam Jones. If Philadelphia says, hey, we'd love Adam Jones, Dan Duquette's got to go to Adam Jones and say, would you entertain a deal to Philadelphia? Otherwise, there's no point in getting started. Now, you've got to believe most of the time guys with 10-5 on this kind of a team and this kind of a situation going into free agency that he would accept a deal. And I think they'll try. I think they're going to try to trade everybody they can trade. Get every prospect they can.
Zach Britton's name has come up. Brach's name has come up. Adam Jones's name has come up. They're in full rebuild right now. There's Brad Brach in the outfield. They've got some players. I think that teams that can contend are going to be interested in receiving and wanting to get back.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Excuse me. In the Adam Jones case, you were talking about that. Is there a contender that needs a center fielder?
Right.
I think you got to find the match.
I think Cleveland has some needs in the outfield. What if a team wanted him, but they said, you know what, Adam, we got a center fielder. You're getting a little bit older. We'd like you to play right field, which he's hardly ever done in his career. He's been almost a lifelong center fielder as he draws a leadoff walk. And that's hard to do. Jones does not walk very often. Yeah, 12th in 93 games. But he's known as, listen, he's been around a long time. That last USA WBC team, he was kind of the leader, the voice on that team. I mean, this would be a good pickup for somebody, I think. Yeah,
and if you know him at all, he is a great guy, a clubhouse leader, plays the game the right way. He would be an asset on any team. And you asked, would he move positions? I think there's no doubt that he would move positions if it gave him a chance to play in the playoffs. I mean, when you're Adam Jones and you get to this point in your career, you're only thinking about trying to win a World Series. He's done everything individually in the game. He's been in all-star games and made a lot of money and gold gloves and the whole thing. I think you start thinking about trying to win the big one. So there's no doubt in my mind that he would accept the trade.
Turning 33 in a couple of weeks. He's been an Oriole since 2008, his 11th season. He and Cowboy Joe having a conversation. Joe West at first base tonight means he's got the plate tomorrow afternoon. Trumbo lines the ball to right field. Granderson back, makes the grab. Back to first, Jones.
Good read on that ball by Grandy in the outfield. Wanted to highlight him because he's going to be getting some more playing time in the outfield. He did the right thing there. He turned his body right away. As soon as the ball was hit, turned his body, got on it sideways, and that allowed him to go laterally back and forth and made a good read on that.
The Blue Jays carrying 4 outfielders right now. Dwight Smith Jr., of course, is also on the roster. And he had a pretty impressive couple of days in Boston. He continues to put up good at bats. And he'll get some playing time as well. Chris Davis off the end of the bat. You can see Grichuk broke back initially on the big swing, then in a couple of steps over to his right, 2 down, and again Jones retreats. Boy, Gaviglio doing his thing, working quickly, throwing strikes. 43 pitches, Tabby, through 3 2/3.
Yeah, and only 12 of them outside the strike zone. That's his bread and butter right there. Make good pitches. Try and get, an out or a result within 3 or 4 pitches.
Danny Valencia lined out to center his first time up. Valencia's contract is up at the end of the year. And you'd imagine he'd be getting a little bit of interest. A guy who's can hit lefties. He can play different positions that, like Steve Pearce, that a contender might want to pick him up in a bench or part-time role.
He creams left-handers. At least he has in the past when he was with the Blue Jays. He was a big bat, especially against lefties. And he would really work out, I think, in the National League, where you could start him if you want to against lefties, or if you don't start him, they pinch hit so much. He's got the type of swing. There's not a lot of movement that if he sits down, he can come off the bench and start swinging, and he can get you some big hits. He's a clutch hitter.
Into right field, and that's down for a base hit. Up to second on the play, Jones. So first and second, 2 down. And Gaviglio now trying to get out of it as he deals with Trey Mancini. It was Mancini who lined the ball off the glove of Gaviglio last inning, and then Sam threw it away trying to get him at first. So it was a single and an error. Another guy with some power. There's still power in this lineup, but this time a weak chopper back to the mound. Gaviglio the toss in time, and that's all as the Orioles leave 2 men on for the second inning in a row.
Diaz with home run number 9 last inning, the only scoring of this game. StatCast AI is powered by AWS. That one got out of here in a hurry. He can do that, give you some power from that shortstop position.
And that's the only run of the ball game so far. Teoscar Hernandez leads off the bottom of the 4th for the Blue Jays. It'll be Hernandez, Smoke, and Solarte. Teoscar striking out his first time up. Couple of fastballs, one taken for a strike, one fouled back.
Yeah, and look where they are, up in the strike zone. And we're starting to see more teams pounding fastballs up, breaking balls away. You have to respect the power. He's got a lot of extra base hits, 20 doubles and 15 home runs this year. There's the breaking ball away. So they found a little bit of a hole right now, and his job is to close up that hole. Lay off that breaking ball off the plate or lay off that high fastball.
Got jammed. Scope backpedaling into the outfield. One down.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now.
With Pat Tabler, Hazel May, I'm Dan Schulman. A 1-0 lead for the Blue Jays over the Orioles. Justin Smoak grounded out his first time up. Blue Jays batting here in the bottom of the fourth. Changeup in there for a strike.
He's got all 4 pitches that you need to be effective. He'll throw the fastball slider mainly, but mix it a curve and a changeup every now and then. His slider is his most effective pitch. Batters are hitting him .146 against him. He's been hurt. The home runs, most of his home runs have come off the fastball.
Smoak gets under one and he pops it up into right center. And it'll be Jones to make the catch. 2 down.
Boy, that was a good pitch to hit. Smokey saw it right out of his hand. He threw him the changeup on the first pitch in that at bat and then came back with it on a 1-1 count. And watch the reaction from Justin Smoak after he just misses this one. Oh man, I should have hit that one out of the ballpark. He's seeing the ball. Just missed that one.
So 2 down and a fastball at the knees taken for a strike by Yannihervis Solarte. The only batter to reach base against Bundy tonight is Diaz on the home run. He has set down everybody else. Ooh, and the slider got him right on the foot. And that stings.
You have heard that saying in baseball, the backdoor slider on the back foot. He didn't move the foot and he paid the price. Back foot breaking ball. I don't know if he thought it was going to miss him or not, or he just wanted to take one for the team, but he got hit hard.
Still grimacing a little bit as he gets down to first base. Commiserating with Joe West, who doesn't look like he has a lot of sympathy right now. So a base runner for Kendrys Morales, who grounded out to third his first time up. I think of all the shifts we see for Morales, that scope here is as far out into the outfield as any second baseman we've seen.
It's the deepest second base we've seen this year. You could almost classify him as an outfielder. That's how deep he is. It's already worked one time for him. Took a hit away from Smoak playing in short right field.
You know, and some people say leave the game alone, it's fine. Some say you should only be allowed 2 infielders on each side of second base. Some say let them go on whatever side they want, but they've got to be on the dirt. They shouldn't be able to go out in the outfield. You say they should play wherever they want?
Yeah.
Let the hitters adjust?
Yeah. I mean, it's been like that for 150 years, right? You could play anywhere you want. If they found something that helps them to stop the hitter from getting a hit, there are the numbers right there. Ground balls, everything is to the right side. I say you make the hitters adjust. And that's coming from a hitter.
I was going to say, would you have said that 20 years ago when you were 25 years ago when you were playing? 26 years ago, I'm sorry. 26 years ago when you were playing?
Keep going. Yes, because you would have figured out a way to beat it.
And it's just funny how so many hitters use the whole field when they hit the ball in the air, but on the ground they pull. And that's why you see a huge shift here on the infield. But Adam Jones out in center. He's actually playing over to left center
and
field.
So is Trey Mancini, the left fielder. He's playing him to hit the ball in the air down the left field line.
And this is very typical.
Yep.
Pull hitter on the ground, but straight away or slightly to the opposite field in the air. Yes, he did. Doug Eddings rings him up. Strikeout number 3 for Bundy, and we're at the end of 4 with the Blue Jays leading 1-0. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Kevin Barker in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Jays Central and over 160 other marquee MLB matchups on every screen with Sportsnet Now. Visit snnow.ca for more details or to sign up today.
Thank you, Hazel. Top of the 5th. If you want more Jays. 1-0 they lead in the home run by Aledmus Diaz. Sam Gaviglio's been terrific so far. 2 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts through 4 efficient innings. This ball's lined into left field, a fair ball. It'll get to the fence. And Renato Nunez is on his way to second base, throws cut, and he slides in there safely with a leadoff double.
Take on any project with Home Hardware, proud partner of the Toronto Blue Jays. Here's how.
Well, the string of good weather continues here in southern Ontario. Roof wide open tonight here at Rogers Center. And the Orioles threatening with a leadoff double for Nunez. And here's number 9 hitter Caleb Joseph. Corner infielders creeping in just a bit. Solarte about even with the bag right now. Smoke a couple of steps behind. And you could see there from that swing clearly an inside out swing there from Joseph, trying to hit the ball to the right side to advance the runner.
They had a man at second base to lead off the inning in the 3rd inning after the infield hit and then the error, but they could not advance him nor score him because Gaviglio got 2 soft fly balls to left field. So Caleb Joseph said, you know what, I'm going to try and move him.
Throw down to second, and back in safely is Nunez.
Baltimore doesn't bunt. They don't steal a lot of bases. They don't sacrifice. They've had 5 sacrifice bunts all season long. So you got to figure they're swinging away. Buck Showalter's team basically one-dimensional when it comes to hitting. They're going to hit home runs, they'll score runs. If they don't hit home runs, they have a tough time scoring runs. So they're going to try and manufacture a run now after the leadoff double.
Chased a breaking ball, 2-2.
You're not going to get hurt if you keep the ball down there. That was a good pitch. He needs to get an out without that runner advancing.
And Gaviglio figures to get a pretty good look here the second half of the season. As long as he keeps pitching reasonably well, they're going to run him out there every 5 days to see what they think of him heading into 2019. Is he part of the plan going forward?
Or if the situation calls for it, they'll run him out there every 3 days.
As they were forced to do last week after that short outing and then needing a guy on Saturday.
But now he is well rested and he's got some pop on the fastball. That's what Caleb Joseph is trying to do right now. He's trying to protect because he's got 2 strikes, but he's also trying to hit the ball the other way.
And a swing and a miss. Another slider down and away. 1 down.
When you see a hitter like that last swing we saw, waiting as long as possible, you got to throw him something really slow and something that's moving. That looked like the breaking ball, and it messed up the timing and got Joseph out without advancing that runner.
Strikeout number 4 tonight for Gaviglio, and that brings him around to the top of the order, starting his 3rd trip through the Baltimore lineup with Tim Beckham, who has struck out and been hit by a pitch. Left center field. Well hit. Gone. Tim Beckham got a breaking ball, hits it out to left center, and just like that, Baltimore takes the lead.
It's a team where you just talked about when they hit home runs, they can score runs. They are averaging under 2 runs a game without the benefit of a home run. So they need to knock the ball out of the ballpark, and with that swing there, that gives them the lead very quickly. It was a breaking ball down, and he went down and got it.
All unloaded Jonathan Scope. Number 3 on the season for Beckham.
They have been threatening the last couple of innings, leaving 2 runners on base each time, each inning, and Beckham's not going to let that happen. You can see that breaking ball, he was able to catch it out in front, drive it out of the ballpark.
When a team's having the kind of year that Baltimore's having, how do you motivate yourself every day when you come to the ballpark to play as hard as you need to play and as you would play if you were on a contending team? How do you keep your spirits up?
You know, I've played on teams like this where you are out of it by the month of June, and it becomes hard because you start playing for yourself. And Buck Showalter's job is to make sure the guys play for the team. Advance runners, that's what was so impressive about Caleb Joseph's at bat. He was trying to sacrifice himself and get the ball to the right side for the benefit of the team. Just haven't hit. 28 wins at the All-Star break. That is so un-Baltimore-like.
I mean, these guys have been around a long time, this franchise, and this is the worst record the Orioles have ever had through 97 games. You know the crazy thing? Kansas City's right there with them this year. The Royals are having just as bad a year. They're 27 and 68. In fact, they're a few percentage points behind the Orioles. This isn't even technically the worst record in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody in Baltimore saw this coming. They thought that they were going to be able to contend. But to finish that thought, you end up playing for yourself, and that's no way to play this game. So what you have to do is you have to figure out ways to come to the ballpark and motivate yourself to get out there and play in the dog days when you have no chance of going to the postseason.
I guess if you're a young guy just trying to establish yourself, then it's easier because you're trying to establish yourself. But if you're a veteran guy stuck on a team like this, it becomes harder.
And this is a team that doesn't have a lot of young guys trying to establish themselves. They're veterans. They've been there, especially the everyday players. They've been there.
Now again, they picked up 5 prospects for Manny Machado. The biggest name is an outfielder named Yusniel Diaz, who hit a couple of home runs in the Futures game. He's the key part of the trade.
And from all indications is this guy's got a bright future ahead of him. When you build a team and you're starting to rebuild, you have to get players in the middle of the diamond. Shortstop, second baseman, center fielders, catchers, and pitchers. And that's where you start. That's where the game is played, in the middle of the diamond. You can fill in later on with the power positions, first, third, left, and right, but you have to be strong up the middle. And if they've got a 21-year-old center fielder, he looks like he's going to be a center fielder, he might be the heir apparent to Adam Jones out in center field, so a good pickup.
Jones didn't like it at all, and you can see why, and he's going to argue the call with Doug Eddings. Blue Jays may have caught a break right there. Number 6 for Sam Gaviglio. Looked like it was off the corner, and it was.
with the team's direction now squarely pointing towards a rebuild. Showalter told me that from day one at spring training, we had a clear idea of who we were and what kind of team we had. Showalter said there is no reason morale should be down. A rebuild is no excuse to not play the right way or play well. And he should know. Showalter told me that he went through it with the Texas Rangers and the New York Yankees. Teams can survive a rebuilding phase quicker nowadays than back when he was playing. So his expectation, Dan, is that the Orioles continue to show up for work and play hard the rest of the way.
All right, Hazel, thank you. Russell Martin drives one to deep left, and it's gone. First pitch swinging. Martin with number 7. And this game is tied.
His last home run came on June the 8th, and guess who it was against? The Baltimore Orioles. Home run number 7 looked like a fastball out over the plate. There wasn't a whole lot on that pitch. Russell really sees a lot of pitches per at bat, but he picked out a good one right out over the middle of the plate. About 89 or 90 miles an hour, and he clubbed it to left field. Yep, belt high over the middle of the plate.
So 4 runs in the game, and they've all come on home runs. Solo shots for the Blue Jays for Diaz and Martin, and Beckham with a 2-run shot for the Orioles.
That looked like a BP fastball, a get me over fastball, anticipating him not swinging.
Grichuk drives one high and deep to left center field, and this ball is gone. The Blue Jays go back-to-back to take the lead.
Bundy's problem again has been the long ball this year. Came into this game having given up 20 home runs in 18 starts. This is home run number 3. The best part about it, they've all been solo home runs for the Baltimore Orioles starter.
Third time this year the Blue Jays have gone back-to-back. Big smile for Grichuk after number 12.
4-seam fastball. Look at that right there. Belt high again.
Same pitch, right? That he threw to Martin.
Carbon copy of the home run that Russell hit.
Now Diaz, who homered in his first at bat. Power has never been in doubt for Randal Grichuk.
He's got some bat speed that generates a lot of exit velocity.
A roller down to third, up with it Nunez, and just out. Very close play at first base. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. All right, Jamie, thank you. The Blue Jays considered asking for a look-see at that play, but after they got the word from their video room, they decided no, that Diaz was indeed out, and he was. It just has to touch the glove. It doesn't have to be closed glove in the pocket. Just has to touch the glove. When it stays in the glove, if it comes back out, obviously touching the glove is not enough. And boy, that was very, very close.
Third baseman Nunez really took his time getting that ball out of his glove. Joe West is the first base umpire tonight, and John Gibbons, after he said, no, I'm not going to look at it. You see Joe West looking in there going, hey, what, you're gonna
are you doubting me?
Challenge me? I've had over 5,000 games in the major leagues. He has the added advantage, and if you play the game, you can hear the distinct ball into the leather, foot on the bag. They're two different sounds. And as a first base umpire, you can hear those sounds, and it helps you because your eyes will get tricked.
At the Honda Checkered Flag event, the real victory lap is the drive home.
Bottom of the fifth, and the Blue Jays have taken the lead on home runs by Russell Martin and Randal Grichuk. And Evan Travis just drew a walk, so a man on for Curtis Granderson, who's 0 for 2. The Blue Jays have 3 hits in this game, and they are all home runs. This is like the All-Star game. There were 10 home runs in the All-Star game, shattering the previous record. The record for most homers in an All-Star game was 6. It had been done 3 times, and then there were 10 hit on Tuesday.
Sounds like the Futures game, too. Wasn't there a ton of home runs hit in the Futures game?
Yeah.
I think there was like something like 7 or 8 home runs hit in the Futures game, the minor leaguers on Sunday night. And then 10 in 10 innings against the best pitchers.
Right. Aaron Judge hit one. Mike Trout hit one. Joey Votto hit one off Jay Happ before Happ then got the next 3 outs to get the save.
Scooter
Jeanette, Gene Segura, Christian Yelich. How about that? Granderson was thinking of bunting for a base hit.
I love it. If you're going to play me deep where Nunez was, he was almost on the outfield grass at shortstop. He's now in, even with the bag between third and second.
Well, you were mentioning the Futures game, Tabby, and some of the power that we saw on display there, including Blue Jay farmhand Danny Jansen, and this was no cheapie.
Yeah, watch him get into this one.
It is driven deep. Side game, boys!
Torrey Hunter having some fun managing Team USA. David Ortiz was the manager of the World Team. Look out inside, full count. Evan Travis looking across the field to Luis Rivera to see if something's on here. Let's see if they put the runner in motion. Granderson really choking up at a full count. Travis is going. And the pitch is sent to left center field. Long run for the outfielders. It'll split them and skip over the fence for an automatic double, and that'll force Travis to put the brakes on at third. A break for the Orioles, because with a runner going, Travis would have scored easily on that ball.
Yeah, if it stays in the ballpark, that's a double and another RBI for Curtis Granderson. Right now they have picked up on Dylan Bundy. He is not getting the ball down. It's staying over the middle of the plate. Blue Jays start the runner over at first base, gambling that Curtis is going to make contact. He does. He drills that ball to left field. And he made it to second base, but is held up after that ball bounced out of play. Would have been an RBI double.
Roger McDowell, the pitching coach, is on the mound, and he's been out there so long that Doug Eddings, the umpires, come out and say, come on, boys, let's break it up. Nobody is throwing in the Baltimore pen. But everybody's doing something. Everybody's up and looking ready and anticipating a phone call.
Put him on.
And Buck Showalter says, let's put Teoscar Hernandez on and set up a double play.
I don't know why they would do that and pitch to Justin Smoke.
But it doesn't look like they're going to do it. Maybe it was a different signal. It was 4 fingers, so we assume that meant intentional walk. But
you know what that is? That's his signal for the infield where to play. 1 is back, 2 is halfway, right. 3 is a little bit in, 4 is all the way in.
And they're all the way in right now for Hernandez, who struck out and popped up. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball, 1-1.
You know, he is not throwing the fastball like he did earlier in the game. He had some pop to it. The fastball, I've seen some 89s, 90s, and some 91s. starting to throw more breaking balls. I think if you're the Blue Jays, you can start looking for that breaking ball.
Fastball fouled back, 1-2. And this is where in years past hitters would change their approach. This situation, 2 strikes on you, infield in, runner at third, less than 2 out. Just try to hit a fly ball, get a run in. But you don't see it as much anymore because the game today is do as much damage as you can. Big swing, try to hit it out.
You're at the advantage right now because the infield's in. You're behind in the count, but the infield's in.
To center field. Travis back to tag. Jones the catch. And Travis will come in to score. The throw cut. The throw is going to third. And cut by Beckham, the shortstop. Travis will score on the sac fly by Hernandez to make it 4-2.
So what I was saying is you have the advantage. All you have to do is make contact and you're going to pick up an RBI. Teoscar is so strong he can be fooled if he gets fooled. He's still strong enough to get the ball deep enough into the outfield. So cut your swing down, get the ball into the outfield, pick up an easy RBI. That's his 40th RBI. Travis reads it, goes back, and even Granderson was tagging and then read the throw, and he had to hustle back to second base. Adam Jones did a great job of decoying that runner at second base. Looked like he was throwing home and then went to third.
So runner at second, 2 down now, 4-2 Blue Jays, and the batter is Justin Smoak. Down the right field line, a fair ball, and another run will come in to score. Smoak digging for second. Valencia a little trouble with it out in the corner, and it is 5-2.
Remember the last at bat for Smoak last inning? They got a changeup on the first pitch for strike 1, and then the changeup that he popped up and finished the inning. That's another changeup, and that's how you beat the shift. Doubling down the right field line as Valencia has some trouble with it in right field. But that's a good hitter. Recognizing what they were trying to do to him, throw him another changeup, and he was waiting for it.
Big inning for the Blue Jays. 4 runs here in the bottom of the 5th, and here's Yangervis Solarte. Hit by a pitch his last time up. He's up there hacking, and he sends one back our way. Drops just below us, 0-1. And we've got activity now in the Orioles pen. Right-hander Jan Marinez is up. Joe Biagini has been throwing. He stopped at the moment. Gaviglio's been really good, and he's only thrown 66 pitches. So we'll wait and see if Biagini's coming in to start the 6th inning or just is ready to go if Gaviglio needs some help. And a fly ball down the right field line. Valencia in the corner makes the catch. And the Blue Jays are gone to the bottom of the 5th, but they get 4 runs. They hit a couple of homers. Russell Martin, the first pitch of the bottom of the 5th, he hits it out, and then Randal Grichuk goes back-to-back, number 12 on the season for Grichuk, and it is 5-2 Blue Jays.
WestJet's first Dreamliner is coming, and it's a game changer. Get ready for a refined travel experience. Visit 787.westjet.com to see the whole story. And Dairy Queen would like to wish Anthony Alford a happy birthday. Dan, hopefully he can hear us there in Buffalo.
Across the lake. Wonder if we'll see Alford at some point later this year. Got off to a slow start. Last I looked, he was doing better lately. Right now, again, Dwight Smith Jr. is with the team. He is the 4th outfielder, along with Granderson, Grichuk, and Hernandez, with Pilar out for several weeks. If Trumbo leading off.
If not before, I'm sure in September for sure. You know, when rosters can expand and he's on the 40-man roster, and if nothing else, he can get some experience being around the big league team, pinch running, pinch hitting.
Well, you got to see, like we talked about with Gaviglio, who do they think is part of the plan going forward? Who can be a factor in 2019? There will be job openings. A lot of the guys who are here now will not be here next year, either by virtue of trade or expiring contract.
They've got a few free agents, don't they? Whoa.
Ooh. And I think what Gaviglio's doing there, and pitchers will do this just to avoid potential injury, even if the guy calls time late, they'll follow through and throw the ball just so they don't compromise their delivery at all. But that kind of got away from Gaviglio, and Doug Eddings, the home plate umpire, had to kind of get out of dodge.
Everybody relax just for a second. Watch, Trumbo calls time in plenty of time. His head's down and everybody relax just a little bit.
There's a little chopper to the third base side of the mound. No play for Solarte, and Trumbo is aboard.
Trumbo is a big man up there, so you got to be in good fielding position when it comes back at you. That's the second one that has ricocheted off of Sam for an infield hit. Trey Mancini had one back in the 3rd inning.
So a man on for Chris Davis. And you want to talk about a struggling guy. I mean, he's still got power. Everybody knows that, but only 9 home runs this year. And look at that batting average, 156, on base percentage of just 231 for a guy who 3-4 years ago was one of the most productive hitters in the game for a while. Had one year with an OPS over 1,000, another year with an OPS over 900. His OPS is barely over 500 right now. 9 home runs, 7 doubles in 292 at bats.
What teams have been doing, they've been really pounding him inside with fastballs. You can see Russell Martin setting up inside. Everything is in there, and they're pounding him in there. He's hitting 070 on inside pitches. There's the OPS you were talking about. That's your on base plus your slugging. He's always been a guy with a great eye at the plate and, of course, power. But they've pounded him in, they've pounded him up.
One, two. Gaviglio to be followed by Marcus Stroman tomorrow afternoon, and then Jay Happ on Sunday afternoon. And if all goes well, Marco Estrada comes off the DL Monday to start the opening game of the series against Minnesota. And then Ryan Borucki gets recalled from the minors after the obligatory 10 days down there in time to start Tuesday in the second game of the series against the Twins.
There's Jay Happ. Jay is scheduled to pitch Sunday.
You saw Kevin Pilar with his arm in a sling talking with Stroman and Happ. Two. And he got him. Davis looking for something else. Takes strike 3 called.
Yeah, I mentioned that they've been pounding him inside and getting a lot of strikeouts. They set up inside, and this one gets away from it and actually ends up right down the middle of the plate. But Chris Davis can't swing it, can't pull the trigger on that fastball.
That is 7 strikeouts through 5 1/3 now for Sam Gaviglio. And it brings up Danny Valencia 1 for 2. Here comes Grichuk, and he's there to make the catch for the second out.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED TV. See nothing else.
Here at Rogers Center, a 5-2 lead for the Blue Jays. Dan Schulman, Pat Tabler, Hazel May with you on this Friday night through the weekend. 2 down here in the Baltimore 6 for Trey Mancini, who's 1 for 2.
You know, part of the job of a manager is understanding matchups and your pitcher versus their hitters, and I think John Gibbons does a really good job about that. What he's looking at now, this is 3rd time through the lineup for Gaviglio, and he's had problems this year coming 3rd time through the lineup. I think that's why we see Joe Biagini starting to get loose. He is up just in case. What he doesn't want, Gibby, is this one to get away. You've got a 3-run lead. You don't want a couple of runners on and someone pop one.
And a ground ball to second. Travis the short flip to Diaz, and that's all. No runs, a hit and a man left. 6 good innings for Gaviglio. 5-2 Blue Jays is your score.
Party on Friday, August 10th. 2 events, 1 night. Join us pregame for a live performance from the Jim Cuddy Band. The patio opens at 4:30, weather permitting. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Bottom of the 6th inning, and the Blue Jays lead the Orioles 5-2. 3 home runs for the Blue Jays tonight. And a new pitcher on for Baltimore, right-hander John Marinez. Well, it's been around since 2010, but Tabby's with his 7th different major league team.
Yeah, just in the last 3 years. Marinez has been with the Rays, the Brewers, the Pirates, the Rangers, and now the Orioles. There's 2 games this year. Just recently called up. He's had a great arm. his problems have been able to harness that great arm. Fastball has reached 99 in his career. He's got a hard slider and a changeup that needs some work, but he just hasn't been able to harness it and throw strikes consistently. You can see he's got great action on that fastball.
And he gets called on the corner, 2-1. Dylan Bundy gave up 5 runs in 5 innings, gave up 3 homers. But he retired Kendrys Morales both times, once on a ground out, once on a strikeout. Pretty good action on that slider too, 2-2.
Yeah, he's got a big arm. He's a power pitcher. Just needs to polish things up, keep it in the strike zone. They just recalled him 10 days ago from the minor leagues after he signed with the Orioles. This past November they signed him after the Rangers let him go.
A bouncing ball to the right side of the infield, and Morales will be safe. The throw hits him. Beckham couldn't glove it cleanly. Scope came in to help him, but by that time Morales was across.
You know, that just didn't look pretty to begin with from Beckham. He's in the shift, and it's a slow play. He had plenty of time to get over there and try and field with the ball in front of him, but he tried to time it. And that little extra hop, it hits off the heel of the glove, and then the ball's thrown and hits Morales. It just didn't look right to begin with. As it goes off of his wrist, he will be charged with his 8th error.
He's 6 on the play. Morales looked like it got him maybe in the left hand or wrist the way he's shaking that hand out. You know, and the shift helps and the shift hurts sometimes. If there's no shift, that's a routine ground ball to the right side. It's for the second baseman probably. The overall numbers, you get a lot of argument about whether the shift helps or hurts. Saw a recent article that says, yeah, the batting average is down, but pitchers tend to walk batters much more often when the shift is on, as if they're thinking about it or trying to place the ball in a certain spot because the defense is set up a certain way. Overall, though, obviously there's enough evidence in the minds of all 30 organizations because everybody's shifting like crazy right now. So.
Trying to pitch into the shift, you know, away from your strength maybe. I think there should be a rule if you're an infielder, okay, in a shift like that. Let's say what we just saw. The shortstop is on the right side of the infield. The second baseman's back. You have a slow runner. If you have to reach for the ball, as Beckham did right there, you should let it go. I think you should just that should be a rule. Just let it go because the second baseman's right there, and he has a better angle. He has a better look at the throw. He could set his feet and make a more accurate throw. So if you have to range hard to your left and reach for the ball, just let it go.
2-2 on Russell Martin, who homered his last time up. Takes down and away in a full count. The home run for Martin is 7th on the season. That tied the game at 2, and then the inning just kept going from there. Grichuk homered. Hernandez drove in a run on a sac fly, and then Smoke drove in a run on a double. Grichuk waiting on deck. Runner is going, and it's strike 3 called, and Morales is just kind of totally hung up between first and second. I don't know if he thought it was ball 4 and that's why he stopped. I mean, obviously, if he was supposed to be running, the Blue Jays were counting on Martin swinging at a strike and putting the ball in play. John Gibbons steamed about something. I assume it's the strike 3 call. Let's get another look at the pitch.
Well, Doug Eddings has been very consistent tonight. He's called that pitch on the corner a lot. This is a breaking ball, 3-2. Martin thinks it's low. Starts the argument, but the play is still going on because Morales was taken off. You're right. They were gambling that they were going to make contact.
I mean, obviously you don't start a guy like Morales unless you are 100% convinced that the hitter will swing at a strike and put the ball in play. And there's Martin taking a pitch that, I mean, borderline, maybe a little bit low, but not that low.
Well, if you've been paying attention, the strike zone has been big tonight, and the borderline pitches have been called strikes. But it turns out to be a double play.
So here's Grichuk. A pop up and a home run for Randal Grichuk tonight. I think Eddings is still hearing it a little bit from the Blue Jay dugout. Jays up 5-2, bottom 6. The 2-2. Got a ball up in the zone, fouled it back.
Yeah, he made a mistake with that one, got underneath that one, and it just spun over the middle of the plate. Lucky that ball wasn't hit out of the ballpark.
Got a wave going here at Rogers Center, if you hear that noise in the background. And a bullet caught out at second by Scope. Denying Grichuk in a bid for a base hit. That's all for the Blue Jays. They're up 5-2 at the end of 6. Good play by Scope up the middle.
On Wednesday, August 8th at 7:07 p.m. you can catch the Blue Jays and the Red Sox in action, and the first 20,000 fans will receive an Aaron Sanchez blue replica jersey. Visit BlueJays.com for tickets.
With the Blue Jays up 5-2, we move to the top of the 7th, and Sam Gaviglio's back out there. He's thrown 82 pitches so far, 58 of them for strikes, and he's got the 8, 9, and 1 hitters coming up for the Orioles here in the 7th.
We had that one stat talking about how well he has pitched here at Rogers Center. Well, he's averaged 6 1/3 innings. It's right about where he finishes up his night. But as long as he keeps throwing up those zeros, John Gibbons is going to keep running him out there. But and just in case.
Yep, 3rd inning in a row that Biagini's up. Oh, 2 to Renato Nunez. And that's strike 3 called. Late movement on that fastball, and Gaviglio's been pitching up in the zone with that two-seamer a lot tonight.
And you know, we mentioned that at the beginning of the show that he was painting on the outside part of the plate, but he just can't keep going there. He's got to be able to move it around the strike zone. Clearly, it catches the plate, and it's high enough. It's not too high. That's right there. That's a good pitch, a finishing pitch. You mentioned, excuse me, Dan, the strikeouts, that he's at 8. Look how many have been taken. 5 have been taken, so he's been painting the corners.
And 8 strikeouts is a career high for Sam Gaviglio. Spent some time with the Royals and the Mariners last year, in addition to the Blue Jays this year. Never had 6 in a game before tonight, and he's got 8. That is a fair ball. Long throw. Solarte on a bounce, and Smoke got the tag on Joseph going by.
I think there's no question that he tagged him. Solarte, this is his only play. He's got to get the ball over there as quick as possible and get it close to the bag. Smoke will do the rest, and watch Justin come off and then tag him as he went by. Wait a minute now. It looked like he tagged him in the head, but the Orioles might want to look at this one. Didn't look like he hit him in the head going by.
And they're not going to have a look at it, so they have not seen enough to warrant asking for a replay. Just nicked him on the batting helmet, I think, on the way by.
That's what it looked like when it first happened, and that one replay looked like it was he was by him.
So Gaviglio with a couple of outs after that 5-3 put out, and Sam now facing Tim Beckham for the 4th time tonight. A chance to get through 7 innings, which would match his career high.
Done it twice this year.
Yeah, did it once against the Yankees back on June the 6th, and did it once against the Tigers on June the 30th. Just inside. 2-1. Pete Walker's got to be pleased with what he's seen from Gaviglio tonight. Mixing his pitches, throwing strikes. Another play for Solarte, and this throw gets there on the fly to get Beckham. That's all for the Orioles. Likely the end of the night for Sam Gaviglio, and what a job he has done tonight. 7 strong for the right-hander, and the Blue Jays lead 5-2. Baseball partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Russell Martin with a home run tonight. Randal Grichuk with a home run tonight. Aledmus Diaz with a home run tonight. Sam Gaviglio with 7 strong. 5-2 Blue Jays, bottom 7. Michael Gibbons in for the O's.
Yeah, Michael Gibbons will pitch in this game. He's 0-6. That's a lot different than last 2 seasons when he won 8 games in 2016, 8 games in 2017. He hasn't won just yet this year, but he's got a big, powerful arm. He leads the Oriole relievers in appearances with those 42. He also has 55 strikeouts as a reliever. That leads the Orioles. And second in innings pitched with 48 1/3. Throwing another save, and he's one of their guys out of that bullpen. He's got a big arm, big fastball, big slider.
Diaz 1 for 2, the home run and a ground out as well. And you can see in one pitch what can make Givens kind of tough, especially for a right-handed batter, the way that he turns his back on you.
Yeah, fastball and then that sweeping slider that he'll use with 2 strikes. He last worked an inning at third versus Texas 6 days ago. So Buck Showalter wants to get him in here even though their team is losing. Normally he's pitching in the 7th inning when the Orioles have the lead.
Little outside, a ball and 2 strikes. Xian-Juan Oh is up in the bullpen right now, so Joe Biagini's time is come and gone. Now that Gaviglio's gone through 7, it looks like if things keep going like they're going, it'll be O in the 8th and then Clippard in the 9th. The Mets are now up 6-1 on the Yankees tonight. A short start for Domingo Germán. Just a little more incentive for Brian Cashman to go out and make a deal for a starting pitcher. Yoenis Cespedes with a home run tonight for the Mets. Noah Syndergaard is on the mound for the Mets tonight.
Do you believe all the rumors that Syndergaard and DeGrom are on the trade block?
Wow.
I don't believe that.
I don't think they will. There's a base hit for Diaz, and he's 2 for 3. And even more than I don't think they will, I don't think they'll trade either one of them to the Yankees, even if they did. I just don't see it.
Like Brian Cashman says, I got to walk around this town. You know, I'm not trading one of my better players to acquire them. Gleyber Torres, that was the rumor. I'm like, no way. Aledmys Diaz can turn on anybody's fastball. This is with 2 strikes as he turns on that 96-mile-an-hour heater. His second hit of the night.
Here's Devin Travis, a pop-up and a walk. I mean, if DeGrom or Syndergaard or both are available, that changes everything in the starting pitching market.
Yeah, they would be the class of the starting market that's out there.
Runner goes, hit and run is on. Travis lines the ball into right center, and it's going to the fence. Diaz will easily come in to score. Travis is on his way to third and in there with a triple.
Devin Travis has looked like Devin Travis over the last couple of weeks, taking that ball away from him and stinging it to right center field. That's his power stroke. Stays back and looked like the Blue Jays had the hit and run on. Slaps that ball into the gap, and that's going to score Diaz easily, who was off on the pitch from first base. Travis with his 24th RBI. That's a classic swing right there on the hit and run.
Here's Curtis Granderson with the infield in now for the Orioles. Granderson tonight 1 for 3. Doubled and scored his last time up. Boy, the hit and run's one of those things, Tabby, when it's put on and it works, it just looks so good. You know what I mean?
Last inning, not so much.
Right.
This inning, perfectly done. You get the leadoff single. Pitcher's thinking about that runner. Throws a ball right down the middle of the plate, and you slap it into the gap, and you love to watch the guys running around the bases.
And for Travis, natural strokes to right center field. And Diaz scoring easily on what turned into a triple, as it turns out. Here's a little flare into right. That'll get down for a base hit. Granderson jammed, but he dumps it into right field for an RBI single to make it 7-2.
Curtis Granderson came into this game with a batting average of .297 versus the Orioles in his career. That's the highest versus any American League opponent. He's says, thank you very much. You got the infield in. I'll fight this ball off my fist and softly put it into right field for an RBI hit. He continues to torment the Orioles.
Here's Teoscar Hernandez, 0 for 2, and had a sac fly his last time up. So the Blue Jays spreading the offense around tonight. 3 solo homers coming from the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the lineup. And the number 9 hitter, Devin Travis, has scored twice and driven in 1. Leadoff man Curtis Granderson scored a run, driven in a run. And so far so good for John Gibbons and company here in the first game out of the All-Star break. Still nobody out. And outside ball 3. Gibbons is really struggling.
Yeah, he came into this game, his career versus the Blue Jays, 4-1, and the Blue Jays are hitting under 200 against him.
Nobody up in the bullpen. Swing and a miss, full count.
They've hit a couple of balls hard, and the Granderson ball was just a ball that he just fought off. It was a pretty good pitch by Gibbons, but he fought it off, and because the infield was in, was able to secure the hit.
Knocks the mask right off of Joseph. I wonder if the Blue Jays add on a little bit more. Maybe if O doesn't come into this game. He's still standing on the mound in the bullpen right now.
Yeah, you'd like to save him as this ball's fouled off. If you need him, pitch him. If not, save him.
And a swing and a miss. 1 down.
Beauty Tone is the official paint of the Toronto Blue Jays, only available at Home Hardware. Here's how.
Fun Friday night at the ballpark so far, with the Blue Jays up 7-2 on the Orioles. Justin Smoak had an RBI double into the right field corner his last time up. He's 1 for 3. The Blue Jays are carrying, Tabby, a 10-man bullpen right now. Now that's temporary. When Estrada comes off the DL for his start Monday, assuming he does, a reliever will come off, and maybe another one will come off when Baraki comes back Tuesday. But they got a lot of arms down there right now. Plus, they've had 4 days off for the break.
Carrying 3 starters?
Yeah, there are only 3 starters on the active roster right now. And a lot of teams have done this. You can kind of use the All-Star break to your advantage a little bit. So there you see, they don't have a reliever named O Santos. They have Xian Juan O and Luis Santos. They just don't have room for everybody.
They did make a move today by putting Urania on the roster.
Yeah, Richard Urania is on the active roster as a backup infielder because Lourdes Gurriel is on the 7-day concussion DL. He is eligible Sunday, but it's no lock. There's Gurriel on the left and Urania on the right. Talking to DeMarlo Hale, Gurriel needs to pass some concussion tests before he gets back on the field. He took BP today, looked fine. He also took ground balls and throws at first base today. And Luis Rivera said to us that he could become kind of an emergency first baseman if they ever have to pinch run for Smoak or Morales. Fly ball to left center, 2 down. You know, if one's the DH and the other's at first and they have to pinch run for whoever's the first baseman, yeah, they've got Solarte. He's played over there a little bit, but they want Gurriel to get somewhat comfortable at first base.
And he can become a super utility type of player. He's athletic enough that you can use him anywhere. But if Morales is DHing and Smoak is playing first base and you have to pinch run late in the game for Justin Smoak, you can't bring Morales in, who is the backup first baseman, because you'll lose the DH. So you need another player, and he's athletic enough to do it.
Solarte with a bouncer down to third. Nunez up with it and on to first to end the inning. But the Blue Jays add a couple. Now leads 7-2.
Who's coming back from left calf issue is progressing through his running program with good intensity. Unfortunately, no timeline on when he gets into ball games. Marco Estrada rehabbing that glute strain through a bullpen today, as Dan mentioned earlier, in preparation for his next start on Monday. And Aaron Sanchez, who's dealing with that index finger contusion, remains in Dunedin at a rehab complex to continue throwing progression. Dan, he will continue playing catch and progress to mound work when ready.
Yeah, unfortunately, just about every session with John Gibbons begins with an injury update. With all of the walking wounded for the Blue Jays right now, Jonathan Scope flies out to center. And how about Sam Gaviglio back out of the mound, Tabby, in the 8th inning?
I love it. If pitchers are going to throw 100 pitches, and that's the magic number that we have, why not let them throw their 100 pitches? He's thrown zeros up the last 2 innings. He's at 93 pitches right now. Let him keep going out there. Every out that he can record from here on out saves the bullpen. Maybe you save an arm for tomorrow afternoon's game. Quick turnaround for the Blue Jays.
Adam Jones. Jones, line out to left. He's walked and also struck out. Just 2 runs on 5 hits for the Orioles off Sam Gaviglio tonight. First time they've seen him. Jam shot, pop up, and this is going to drop in no man's land for a base hit. Smoke couldn't get back there. Travis couldn't get over there. Granderson couldn't get in there. And Jones knows he got a little bit lucky on that one.
You'll take them all. That makes up for the line drives that they caught in the past. He jams them, and Jones just flares out into the outfield. That type of swing tells you that Gaviglio's fastball still has a lot of movement on it.
Here's Mark Trumbo, 1 for 3. Trumbo DHing. He'll play in the outfield from time to time as well. The Orioles, in addition to all the other problems they've got, they are not a good defensive team at all by any measure. Percentage of balls in play, turn into outs, errors, which is not necessarily the best defensive stat, but it is some sort of an indication. They got a lot of work to do on a lot of levels, and they may make more deals and trade away the likes of Zach Britton, Brad Brach, Adam Jones.
You know, this is a team that has always been known as a fundamentally sound team. They don't beat themselves. They came into this game 30th, ranked 30th in defensive efficiency.
Three and one. And the next pitch for Gaviglio will be his 100th pitch on the night. It'll be just the third time this year he has reached that plateau. Pitching into the 8th inning for the first time in the major leagues. At the knees, a full count. Popped him up. Travis finds it and is there for the second out. And will John Gibbons let Gaviglio keep going and try to get a last out in the 8th inning? It looks like it.
Back in the day, and I don't want to say back in the day, but starters, they only pitch once every 5 days. And when you get this far into a game, they would want to finish. And they would fight the manager saying, I'm finishing this game. Jack Morris tells the story all the time about Sparky Anderson coming in trying to take him out of the game, and he said, hey, the guy you're bringing in isn't any better than me. So just turn around and go back into the dugout. I'm going to finish this game off.
Jack Morris going into the Hall of Fame next weekend. Yeah. Driven to deep right field, and Davis knocks it out of here. 2-run homer. And that makes it 7-4. And John Gibbons is up on the top step, and that looks like it's going to signal the end of the night for Gaviglio. He's just waiting for the runners to round the bases. Well, unfortunately for Gaviglio, the line will not reflect how well he pitched tonight with that 2-run homer right at the end of the night. But Gaviglio deserves and no doubt will get a nice ovation when John Gibbons takes the ball from him. That's a good way to start things out of the All-Star break, and a job well done by Sam Gaviglio.
Yeah, 8 strikeouts, pitching into the 8th inning. He just hung it, looked like a breaking ball to a very strong hitter. But the fans recognize the great effort from Gaviglio as he starts the Blue Jays off on the right foot in the second half.
Gaviglio's 2-year major league career. He pitches deeper into a game and strikes out more batters than he ever had before.
Yeah, 7 2/3 inning, a new career high for him. 8 strikeouts, a new career high. It was 6 strikeouts. He had done that 6 times. And you're right, the line is not going to look as pretty as it was heading into that last inning after the 2-run home run. But he will now give way, and Shamwan O will take over and try and finish out this inning. There are the numbers for O in 45 games. He pitched twice in that series in Boston. An inning in both of those outings, and all he gave up were a couple of scratch hits. That's it.
So he inherits a 2-out bases empty situation, relieving Gaviglio. The batter is Danny Valencia, who's 1 for 3. Has hit the ball hard all 3 times tonight. A base hit to right, and a couple of lineouts really to center field. At the knees on the outside edge, 1-2.
Been throwing the ball much better lately. His command and control has been better. Not really throwing any harder. It's just he's throwing it in a good spot. That last fastball was right where he wanted it.
That slider was not right, or a splitter maybe was not where he wanted it.
Yeah, he was going for the strikeout right there and just held on to it a little bit too long. And he's been racking up the strikeouts. The last time he came into a game and didn't strike out a batter was June the 17th.
A guy who undoubtedly is drawing a little bit of interest from contenders, you would think. Veteran guy, good numbers this year, but keep in mind that the Blue Jays have an option on O, so they can keep him next year relatively cheaply. So not like they're necessarily anxious to trade him. He could help next year. He gets Valencia. We go bottom 8, 7-4 Blue Jays. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Once again, Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker from the Samsung broadcast studio. Event. Check out their all-star lineup.
We're going to make it plural. We're going to call it drives of the game. First pitch of the 5th inning to Russell Martin. He deposits over the fence and left field for his 7th home run of the season. After he circles the bases, right behind him, Randal Grichuk with number 12. Same spot, same result. Another home run. Grichuk and Martin with tonight's drives of the game.
2 of the 3 home runs the Blue Jays have hit tonight. Here's another guy generating a lot of conversation in the rumor mill. It's Brach. Numbers aren't great this year, Tabby, but he's had a pretty good body of work the last 3-4 seasons.
Yeah, he's an all-star, a former all-star. He's only been scored upon in 9 of his 39 appearances this year. He's had to close when Zach Britton was on the disabled list. He's picked up 10 saves this year and 12 opportunities. He's got good stuff. And you're right, he's been generating a lot of interest because he's a valuable arm out of that bullpen. You can pitch him in the 7th inning, the 8th inning, or the 9th inning. It doesn't matter. He's going to do a good job for you.
He was closing when Zach Britton was on the DL. Britton's back, throwing the ball better lately, coming back from that ruptured Achilles. 7-4, the Blue Jays lead bottom 8. The Jays are 6-1 against the Orioles this year, and John Gibbons has Tyler Clippard up in the bullpen. Remember, Ryan Tepera's back. He's on the active roster. He pitched an inning the day before the All-Star break, but it looks like, at least for now, it's still O setting up and Clippard closing. Nunez in the shift, 1 down.
And that could all change in a couple of weeks for the Blue Jays, who finishes off ball games.
Yeah, Roberto Osuna continues his work in the minor leagues. He is eligible to rejoin the team August 5th. The Blue Jays have said that on the 5th they expect him to be back and in all likelihood take over the closer's job again, if not immediately, probably soon. And you wonder if, you know, teams are looking at him. I'm sure scouts are watching him in the minors, but he's not eligible to pitch in the majors until after the trade deadline. And everything from what we have been told and understand is that Osuna's going to be back August 5th.
That is the last day of that 10-game road trip out west. Chicago, Oakland, Seattle.
Martin with a bouncer down to third. Another play for Nunez, 2 down.
You know, a lot could happen between now and then. Trades. There are some arms in the bullpen that are drawing some interest from other teams. But I think the whole reliever market has to sort itself out.
Well, a guy like Britton may have to get dealt. You know, and then there's a trickle-down effect. Who's the next best guy? And then the next best guy. Ryan Tepera back in the active roster for the Blue Jays. I don't think there's any question a reliever or two who's on the Blue Jays now is not going to be on August the 1st. We don't know which one.
Yeah,
but, you know.
I think there's a real good chance. Yeah. You know, they're valuable players, valuable pitchers. That contending teams, they go and they fortify the back end of the bullpen first. And then you've got controllable relievers, and you've got relievers on contracts who are, they're expiring. I guess they call it. They're free agents at the end of the year. That has to clear itself out too.
Indians made a trade bolstering their bullpen. Picked up Brad Hand, an all-star this year with San Diego. He goes to Cleveland. Another reliever, Adam Simber, went as well. And Francisco Mejia, catching prospect, went the other way to the Padres. But Hand is a really good reliever, an all-star this year, and I think he's got, after this year, potentially 3 more years of control. So
3 more years of control, because the Indians are losing 2 big relievers at the end of this season.
Yeah. Cody Allen, Andrew Miller, both free agents at the end of the year. But Grichuk sounds like he might have broken his bat on that fly ball to shallow left center. He's retired, and the Blue Jays go in order in the bottom of the 8th. So it's 7-4 Jays going top 9 as they are 3 outs away from taking the opener from the Orioles.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. Hurry in to grab the Civic that matches your game.
Top of the ninth inning here in Toronto. Dan Shulman and Pat Tabler with you. The Blue Jays up 7-4. Tyler Clippard on looking for the save.
He has now taken over the lead for the most games pitched in the American League. This is his 49th game of the season. He's been very reliable. .315 earned run average. He has 6 saves this season. He's also won 4 games out of the bullpen with a very good ERA of .315. Matter's hitting just .207 against him. He's methodical. He understands how to get big league hitters out.
Bottom third of the order for the Orioles, beginning with left fielder Trey Mancini here in the ninth. Mancini 1 for 3. If it holds up, it's a win for Sam Gaviglio, which would be his 3rd on the season. Clippard looking for the save. Dylan Bundy would get stuck with the loss. To right field. Granderson still going back, and it's over his head. Mancini is on his way to second base and in there with a double, and now the ball bounces away into the outfield, and he'll come to third. It's a double and E9 to Mancini at third base.
He's got some power the other way, and he hits it over Grandy's head in right field. He's going to try and get that runner at second base, and the runner and the ball arrive at the same time. Looks like it hit off the backside of Mancini, trickles out into the outfield, so he'll end up over at third base. That run means nothing right now for the Blue Jays. Got to get an out here.
Renato Nunez. There's no other way to score it. It's always a tough air. The throw's right on the bag at second base, but it hits the runner when he's sliding in, so you've got no choice really.
Outfielders get some tough errors.
Yeah.
I was playing right field once, and I made a perfect throw home, but the batter had swung and thrown the bat right in front of home plate. It hit the bat, got an error on it. That was a great throw by Granderson.
Wow. Nunez committed early on that one, didn't he?
He made up his mind he was going to swing. Against Tyler Clippard, you got to see the pitch first. He's got a lot of pitches in his bag of tricks. Great changeup, great splitter.
Wow. And the wild pitch, the extremely wild pitch, allows a run to score, and it's 7-5. Got to believe that was a splitter, and he just lost the grip on it on the way home.
Lost it. Blue Jays gave him a couple of extra bases there to score that 5th run. Trots over to third base and then trots home on the wild pitch.
And Nunez stays alive. So it's now a 2-run game. Still nobody out here in the 9th inning. Remember last time Clippard pitched was Saturday in Boston. He gave up back-to-back doubles to start the 9th inning. That included the tying run. Then he got the next 3 outs. Game went to extra innings, and Xander Bogaerts won it on the grand slam. Martin over for a look, and he just can't get there in time.
Boy, it just had to be about maybe 5 feet higher, and Russell would have been able to get over there. He's always playing the game the right way. It just wasn't high enough for him.
So the count remains a ball and 2 strikes. And a high drive to deep center. Grichuk is back and has room for out number 1.
That looked like the split finger pitch that Nunez just couldn't square up. Just got it off the end of the bat, so that one stays in the ballpark. There's the split. And look at the rotation of the baseball. That's tough to square up and hit solidly to knock out of the ballpark.
Now Caleb Joseph, the catcher, with the number 9 hitter, who's 0 for 3 tonight. A double, an error, a wild pitch, allowing a run to score, then a deep fly ball for the first out. The Blue Jays now trying to hang on and take this opener. They were up 7-2 going to the 8th. A little bit high. All's quiet in the Blue Jay pen. The inning belongs to Clippard. Out of play. Better than 31,000 in the ballpark tonight. 31,115 on a nice Friday night with the roof open. Hoping to see a victory to open up the post All-Star break portion of the schedule.
Clippard's been around a long time. Caleb Joseph's been around a long time. They've never faced each other. So he's trying everything. That was that great changeup off the plate.
Two again. And a high fly ball to deep left field. Hernandez turns and it's gone. And it is a 1-run game. Second of the season for Joseph.
That one looked like a changeup that stayed over the inside part of the plate. As a hitter, all you got to do is make sure you stay short and catch the ball out in front, and that's exactly what Joseph does. He fouled off a changeup down and away, and then caught that pitch out in front. There's the changeup grip, and it just stays there, hangs in there. You can see how short his swing is. Stays right through it. It's now a 1-run game.
With 1 out here in the 9th inning. And back to the top of the order for Tim Beckham. And now there's activity in the bullpen. Ryan Tepera is starting to throw. Beckham is homered tonight. Well, this one seemed like it was going to be a cruise to the finish line for the Blue Jays heading to the 8th. Not so. Fastball right there, 0-2.
That's what the Orioles do. They hit home runs, just like the Blue Jays. 2-run home run last inning by Chris Davis, cut into that lead, and then the home run by Joseph has made this a 1-run game. They've actually out-hit the Blue Jays now with that home run.
Did he go? No, says Joe West down at first.
Beckham, does he hold up? Yeah, I think so.
So it's 1-2. Checked it again.
He's getting some good movement on that splitter. That one really tumbled the home plate. He's got to get a little bit closer.
So splitter down or fastball up?
I'm going fastball away. Pitch away from his power.
Fastball up. Martin had slid away. Beckham gets a piece of it.
They wanted that ball away to stay away from Beckham's power. He's already homered tonight to dead center.
Clippard having to work hard. 2 runs in, just 1 out. About to throw his 20th pitch as Tepera continues to get loose. Got him. 2 down.
After a couple of fastballs, that's when you pull the string with that changeup, and he throws a beauty that time. Beckham way out in front. You can see he loses his balance. Watch the front foot. He's out on that front foot. The ball's not there yet. Good execution of that changeup.
So down to their final out, the Orioles sent up Jonathan Schoop, who's 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts tonight. Adam Jones is on deck if Schoop can get aboard. Blue Jays an out away, up a run.
Outfield should be a little bit deeper now. He represents the tying run. No doubles defense, nothing over your head.
Down the left field line. Will it stay fair? It will. Schoop has homered, and the Orioles have tied it in the 9th.
He had one thing on his mind right there. Get a pitch out over the plate. He's got plenty of power. You mentioned it at the beginning that he had hit 32 home runs last year. That is just his 11th this season. He hit it in a good spot, a changeup out over the plate, and we are tied.
And a blown save for the 2nd consecutive outing for Tyler Clippard. And this time he gives up 3 runs, including 2 homers. And a long walk, what has to be a long walk to the third base dugout, into what is now a 7-7 tie. Ryan Tepera on his way in. Schoop has tied the game here in the 9th inning, lining a ball hard down the left field line for his 11th home run of the season
and 100th of his career. Projected distance 383, the exit velocity 107. He's got some power. He had 32 of them last year, drove in 100, and with that swing, his 100th career home run, we're all tied.
So the Orioles coming back from 5 runs down in the last 2 innings. And now Ryan Tepera is into the game, his 2nd game since coming off the DL, when a scoreless inning on Sunday in Boston.
Oh, Tepera's got a mean, wicked 2-seam sinker. And for right-handed hitters, if you don't catch it out in front, you're going to do what Adam Jones did. Hit it right off your foot. That ball is coming in. Tracks it right off the top of the shoe.
And he's in some obvious pain. Nobody's come out of the Orioles dugout to check on him yet as he kind of nods, says, "I'm all right." So there will be no W for Sam Gaviglio tonight, as the Orioles have come all the way back to tie it after being down 7-2. Fooled them there, 1-2. Second frustrating outing in a row for Tyler Clippard, and this one really seems to be eating at him. Surrenders 2 homers, 3 runs here in the 9th inning.
You don't feel bad for yourself. You feel bad for your teammates. Like you let them down, especially that starter.
Got him. That's all in the top of the 9th. But the Orioles have tied it.
Hard throwing former Blue Jay reliever. He started some games already this year for him. 56 innings for Castro. Hard fastball, hard slider. Look down at the bottom down there. 36 strikeouts and 34 walks. He can get wild at times, and the Blue Jays have faced him before this season in the same type of circumstances. Late in the game at a tie game, and they actually walked off a win against Castro last month. Right here.
Yeah, Ledmus Diaz with an RBI single. That was in the 10th inning to score Teoscar Hernandez and end that game. And it's a Ledmus Diaz to lead off the bottom of the 9th here tonight. Diaz, Travis, and Granderson to try to win it here in the 9th and avoid sending this game into extra innings.
This has been a good combination for the Blue Jays tonight. Diaz and Travis. They've been on base 4 times.
Fly ball, well hit. Right center field, off the wall. Diaz is on his way to second. The 2 outfielders struggled with it a little bit. I don't know if Ledmus thought he hit it out, but he was, when I looked up to see where he was just at first base. We'll have to get another look. Maybe costly there, because with the trouble in the outfield, he might have been able to get to third.
Yeah, and I think something's wrong with Adam Jones in the outfield. You can see both outfielders have gone over to talk to their center fielder.
Fouling the ball off his foot.
Yeah, he's limping. This ball is crushed by Diaz, his 3rd hit of the night. Fastball out over the plate. He hits it off the top of the wall. Jones gets over there. It looked like he tried to plant his foot. He thought the game was over.
Yep.
And now he's got a hustle. It looked like he had a chance to be on third base. Jones got over there. It looked like he tried to plant his foot, drop the ball in the outfield after it came off the wall, and he's hurting.
Now Devin Travis. Travis tripled his last time up. He squares to bunt, pulls the bat back, and he takes ball one.
Boy, the third baseman was crashing Nunez, leaving third base wide open. The shortstop went to second base. And Nunez is telling him now, hey, we had this play on where you're coming over to third base. There he is. He's telling him the second baseman has the runner's responsibility.
A chopper, and this will advance the runner. So Diaz comes to third on the ground out as we get a preview of Sportsnet Central with Jesse and Ken. There sure is. We look forward to that. Also, potentially seeing highlights from a Blue Jay victory if they can get this run home here in the bottom of the ninth. It served as a bunt, that ground out for Travis, and now Diaz is at third. The infield is, of course, is way in. The outfield has come in. Remember last time Curtis Granderson was up in the 7th inning, he dumped a ball over the drawn-in infield into right field for a base hit, and they're going to put him on. He won't have a chance.
I think that's the right call. You set it up for either the strikeout or the double play. Buck Showalter gambling Castro with his big fastball slider. It's a better matchup against Teoscar Hernandez.
Hernandez tonight 0 for 3 and a sac fly. Winning run at third with one out here in the bottom of the ninth. Swing and a miss, 0-1.
Guessing fastball, and he got the slider.
What would you tell him if you could whisper something in his ear before he left the on-deck circle? What would it be?
Make him throw you a strike. You know, look for your pitch in your zone. If it's not there, let it go. You don't want to get too big with your swing, too long with your swing.
Granderson is running. There's no throw down. The pitch a called strike, so it's 0-2.
See what he's gambling on a strikeout. Then you walk Justin Smoke, the on deck hitter, and take your chances with Solarte.
Good block there by Joseph. They do credit Granderson with a stolen base on that play, his second of the season. So second and third with one out here in the bottom of the ninth inning, and Teoscar Hernandez trying to send this crowd home happy tonight. And he strikes him out, 2 down. And Buck Showalter's on his way out. He's got activity in the bullpen. And I think he's already pointed down to the pen to make a change for a left-hander. Paul Fry is going to come into the game now for Baltimore, with Justin Smoke scheduled to come up, switch hitter. Solarte on deck, so Buck Showalter could have played this a number of different ways.
Yeah, you know he's played it out in his mind what he wants to do. I'd be surprised if they pitched to Justin Smoke. You know, he knows, he reads the same articles we read. He's been swinging a hot bat right now.
His numbers this year actually better from the left side. Last year much better from the right side, but better from the left side tonight. He switches batting helmets. And we'll step aside briefly while Fry warms up. The Blue Jays trying to win it here in the bottom of the ninth. And as you can see in his first 8 games, he's done a nice job for Baltimore.
Yeah, 10 strikeouts, no walks. One of those strikeouts was against Mike Trout when they faced the Los Angeles Angels. It's basically fastball slider. Former 17th round draft pick of the Mariners back in 2013, came to the Orioles last April 2017. Big situation here against Smokeman. It looks like they're going to pitch to him.
Second and third, 2 down. Tie game in the bottom of the 9th. And another good stop there by Joseph. A leadoff double by Diaz. Might have been able to get to third had he not assumed it was going to be a home run. Slow out of the box. Ground out by Travis, advancing Diaz to third with a 1 out. Intentional walk Granderson. Stolen a base and a strikeout of Hernandez.
You know, and Diaz is coming way down that line at third base. The third baseman Nunez has got to play deep, respecting Smoke at the plate. So Diaz is coming down. 2 breaking balls in the dirt. You got to anticipate another one in the dirt.
As Fry backed himself into a fastball count here. Now he'll step off as again Diaz is dancing down the line. If they wind up putting Smoke on one way or another, then it would be on Hervis Solarte. 2-0. Fastball and a strike. The Blue Jays have 6 walk-off wins this year. Chased a slider down low, 2-2. And Fry strikes him out, and the Blue Jays cannot cash in on a great opportunity. Extra innings on the way.
In the game has a story, a human story. New episodes of A Swing and a Belt with Dan Shulman are available every Thursday through the baseball season. And Dan, I understand this week's guests are Red Sox GM Dave Dombrowski, and I'm not sure how you manage this one, Blue Jays broadcast producer Doug Walton.
That was a tough get. That was a real, my people had to talk to his people even have people. That's how we had to get it. But a little peek behind the curtain of what goes into producing a game, putting it on TV, which sometimes even go into extra innings, as this one is here tonight.
So on to the game. John Axford for the 42nd time. The Axe 2-1 with a 403 earned run average. Got some power he's got to deal with this inning.
Starts Mark Trumbo off with a curveball for a strike. Next for the 5th pitcher of the night for the Blue Jays, Sam Gaviglio, Hyun-Hwan Oh, Tyler Clippard, Ryan Tepera. Oh and Tepera each facing only one batter. And now Axford here in the 10th. And a broken back ground ball out to second. Travis has it. One down.
Boy, that's the effects of that two-seam sinking fastball right in on the hands of Trumbo. That barrel of the bat went behind Martin and the umpire all the way to the on-deck circle. Watch this. Jam City. That thing ended up behind him on the on-deck circle.
Now Chris Davis, who hit a home run in the 8th inning that at the time, Tabby, I mean, it was significant, but it didn't look like it would be the beginning of what was to come. That made it 7-4 at the time. And then the Orioles scored 3 more off Clippard in the 9th to tie it.
Home runs playing a big part of the Orioles' comeback tonight.
One and two.
Excuse me, Dan. It looked like he hit a breaking ball from Gaviglio for that home run. That was the last batter that Sam faced. 2 outs in the 8th inning.
Freezes on the fastball, 2 down. Now Danny Valencia will come up for the Orioles.
Chris Davis has struck out 3 times tonight, all of them with that fastball, that two-seam fastball. Gaviglio got him twice, and now Axford here in the 10th.
Valencia's 1 for 4. And a curveball for a strike. Very sharp John Axford so far. Another curve, swing and a miss, 0-2.
Boy, that is tough to beat. When he's throwing that thing for strikes, the double whammy, the hard curveball and that two-seamer.
Two. Got him with a slider away. What a good inning for John Axford. 3 up, 3 down. Blue Jays coming up trying to win it at the bottom of the 10th. giving his team a chance to win it in the bottom half of the 10th. Brought some great stuff into the top half.
Yeah, he had to face the big power hitters. Drops the curveball. There's another one. And watch this. He goes to the slider in a great spot. 3 pitches, a quick strikeout. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Axford. Now let's get him a run so he can get the W.
Blue Jays trying to avoid what would surely be considered one of their ugliest losses of the season if they lose this game. There's Yangervis Solarte, 0 for 3 and hit by a pitch. And Fry in there with a slider. Solarte, Morales, and Martin. Nobody up in the Baltimore pen, nobody up in the Blue Jays pen. Fry making just his 9th major league appearance.
He didn't look intimidated.
No.
That last inning against the hottest hitter the Blue Jays have.
Fell behind Smoke 2-0, came back to strike him out. Now he's 2-1 on Solarte to begin the bottom of the 10th.
Spent some time in Double-A this year, a little time in Triple-A, and here he is in the big leagues.
Ground ball to third. Nunez with plenty of time, 1 down. Now Kendrys Morales. 0 for 4 on the night. Turns around to bat from the right side against the left-hander Fry. Morales with weaker numbers from this side of the plate this year. So if you're just looking at this year's numbers, Smoke and Morales both better from the left side. Solarte about even.
And that's why we've seen managers time after time bring in the lefties to face these switch hitters.
Which they didn't do last year.
No, not at all. Scouting reports and numbers say bring in the lefties.
One and 2 on Morales. That time he wouldn't chase. Well, what we've seen from Fry, pretty much a 2-pitch pitcher. Fastball, slider, like a lot of left-handed relievers.
That's what the scouting report says. Fastball, slider, not afraid to throw it at any time, that slider.
Full count.
He has not walked a batter this year. This is his 9th game in the big leagues with the Orioles. He's thrown 10 innings. He's had 11 strikeouts, hasn't walked a batter.
Full count on Morales with 1 down. That's the first pitch of the 6 that Fry's thrown that's been in the strike zone.
Looking for something out over the plate. You're thinking extra base hit here.
Strike 3 called right at the knees.
And he still hasn't walked anybody. That was a perfect pitch down and away.
Now Russell Martin. See if he can do in the 10th, Tabby, what he did in the 5th.
First pitch he saw in that 5th inning from Dylan Bundy. See you later. Russell's 7th of the season. That was a fastball out over the plate. Got to look for the same thing here.
Slider for a strike. And another. Ground ball to short. Beckham circles around it, and the throw bounces in and off the glove of Davis. And it looked like Beckham might have had time to set his feet and try to gun it over there, but he opted not to, and the error extends the inning.
We highlighted him at the beginning of the game because no Manny Machado, an excellent fielder. It's got plenty of time. He elects to throw on the run. It's not even close. He bounces it, and it's off target. He had an error earlier this game on a fielding error. That's a throwing error. That's number 9 on the season.
And Tabby, that's been scored a base hit.
What?
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking what you're saying. Here's Randal Grichuk. Well, one way or the other, they got a base runner. That's an error. I mean, Martin will take it. But,
oh, absolutely,
but
he'll take it.
So here's Grichuk, 1 for 4. The one's a homer. Well, we've seen him throw a 2-0 slider already. No gimme that this is going to be a fastball to Grichuk.
First time the Jays have seen him, so you got to put that in your thoughts that you might see it.
2-1 now. Good take there. 3 balls and a strike. Now do you think he's backed him into a fastball for sure?
Yeah, he might challenge him. I don't know that much about this guy. He's new. Again, this is the first time he's been in the big leagues this season. Spent some time in AA and AAA this year for the Orioles.
Fastball outside, ball 4, and the inning continues. The winning run to second. And now here's Aledmus Diaz. And remember, it was Diaz who hit the ball off the wall in right center to lead off the bottom of the 9th. Thought it was out, didn't get out of the box quickly at all, and that's not like him. He's not a guy who does that, but he did it tonight. Might have been able to get to third, might have changed the bottom of the 9th, might have won the game.
The way he's swinging, this is the guy I want at the plate. He's had 3 hits tonight, a single, a double, a home run. Had a chance to win it right here. Now, if you're Russell Martin, the runner at second base, you got to get a huge secondary lead. 2 outs, you're off on the crack of the bat, and Luis Rivera is going to send you any ball into the outfield. The infield has to play deep.
And a ground ball between third and short, and everybody's safe. It scoots into the outfield. Martin will score. And the Blue Jays find a way to walk it off here in the bottom of the 10th.
The hero of the night, Aledmus Diaz. That should be his 4th hit. A game winner as it finds its way first past Nunez, the third baseman, then under the glove of Beckham, allowing Martin to score from second base. And the Blue Jays have their first win of the second half.
A base hit and an RBI and his 4th hit of the night. And the Blue Jays, after letting a 7-2 lead slip away, find a way to hand the Orioles a defeat 8-7 in 10 innings, their 7th walk-off win on the season. He didn't hit it all that hard, Tabby. He hit it in the right spot, and that redirection off the glove of Nunez proved to be the difference.
Yeah, off the glove. You got to keep that ball somehow into the infield. Goes off of the glove, And then Beckham has a chance to knock it down, but he overruns it also. And on the turf, that thing's going to roll into no man's land. No chance for Mancini to get Martin. Blue Jays get the win.
Not their prettiest win of the season, but a win nonetheless, as they up their record against the Orioles on the season to 7-1 and take the opener here 8-7 in 10 innings. John Axford picks up the win in relief. Paul Fry gets stuck with the defeat. 8-7 in 10 innings tonight. The Blue Jays over Baltimore. And let's send it to Jamie Campbell. Forgive me, we are going to Sportsnet Central. Let's send it to Jesse and Ken to get you started on all of tonight's action.